Hello and welcome back to Boring Dad Gaming, where today we're going to be playing some more Death Trick, Double Blind. Now the weirdest thing just now when I started to open up the game to start playing, I had a little flutter of anxiety, which is not something that happens to me very often when gaming, and I think it's because I'm acutely aware of how quickly time is running out in this game, and how much progress I still have to make, particularly with Jones. I know there's at least 2 people here. I don't know if it's exactly, I can't remember which two. I know one's here. Echo maybe. Maybe the clown. But we're going to start off here. Let's go talk to this lady. What I'll probably do is pause and try and work out what this contradiction is. Because the contradictions seem to be really important to making progress, don't they? So let's try. Well, someone in the comments said they quite like trying to see my thought process here. So, thing is, I'm not sure where it's coming from here. It could even be one of these things. I have no idea. No, I don't know. I'm going to have to do the old adventure game thing of trying something with everything else and seeing what sticks, I think. And I won't subject you to that. We'll come back when I've been successful. If I've been successful. Oh, I got it. It was knife throwing act and glasses. Okay. I tell you what, it took me a long time to get to that. Hattie couldn't really have performed the knife throwing act because she had problems with her vision. These are definitely Hattie's glasses. She's not looking at me. She flicks her wrists, idly watching ash falling from the tip of her cigarette. I might as well not exist. When I found them in her room, I thought they couldn't be hers. What other explanations make sense? Maybe they're yours. But you said it yourself, no one else wears glasses in the circus besides Moses. More importantly, if anyone else in the circus were nearsighted, they wouldn't have any reason to hide it, would they? If the others are having problems with their vision, they can just wear the glasses. The only reason Hattie doesn't is because it would destroy the illusion of the trick. How can she throw knives from 30 feet away when, going off of the thickness of these glasses, she wouldn't even be able to tell a bird apart from a squirrel at that distance? Staying almost entirely silent throughout my whole speech, the woman in front of me lets out an ambivalent, like her mind is somewhere far away. But I know better. And there they were, just sitting in her drawer. You must have known about them, but I'm guessing even you didn't anticipate a certain sneaky lockpick to assist me. Ah, that gets a surprised reaction. She genuinely didn't know. How did you get her to do that? She promised me. I happen to have this amazing piece of lemon pie on me. Of course you did. And apparently she specifically promised she wouldn't do it again to steal. Now, technically I stole the glasses, but she didn't take anything. You too? She sounds like she's trying not to laugh. Well, that's one thing we reprobate detectives and honorable thieves have in common. A healthy appreciation for technicalities and loopholes. Don't call her that. Not even an honourable one? She's an acrobat now, a very good one. Fine, an ex-thief who makes a great acrobat, and incidentally has been immensely helpful to said detective in this case. Anyway, the point is, we both know. I now know that you've known all this time, and you know now that I know that she wasn't actually aiming and throwing those knives. So what was it, some sort of trick? A mechanism? Someone else was doing it for her. No, it was her. I notice you did not refute the 2 previous questions. She shrugs. Something nags at the back of my mind. Yan. When I asked her about whether she's worried for her sister doing the knife-throwing act, she said something interesting. Yan told me you told her that the knife-throwing act is, quote, perfectly safe. At the time, I paid it no mind, chalking it up to the comforting words of a big sister who didn't want a young girl to worry. But in retrospect, that phrasing is telling. How can throwing knives be without risk if the knives are not being thrown? A trick or a mechanism? If she couldn't aim, is it some sort of a magnet at the back that makes the knife hit certain spots? No, there's no magnet that strong. I keep watching her face to gauge her reactions. Although it's clear that my answer is wrong, something on her face shifts when I mention the back of the board. Have you seen someone shoot a gun at the target? What does that have to do with anything? The bullet is moving so fast you can never see it flying in the air. You'll only see the smoke from the barrel and then the hole on the target. Oh, she never actually throws the knife. We've established that. She must have been pocketing it. For a magician, that kind of sleight of hand is child's play. So that's the bullet leaving the barrel, and then for hitting the target. There could be some sort of mechanism at the back of the board that makes it look like a knife had hit. A latch, a spring, some elastic that makes an identical knife pop out from the back. Right, the mechanism must require somebody to operate it. Was it you? Mr. Jones, I'm flattered, but I'm afraid you overestimate how much I can do when I'm tied to the board. Then it must be the mechanic Alice, am I right? You'll have to ask her. Well, I would if she'd ever appear on the map for me. Hopefully she will at some point. That's not a no. I just hit the bullseye. Have I guessed anything wrong so far? You've been very thorough, Detective Jones. It's a brilliant trick, really. A magic trick that disguises itself as a game of skill. 2 knives, 2 operators, always one in the light and one in the shadows. Trick reveal. The secret behind Hattie's knife-throwing trick was that she actually never let the knife leave her hand. Instead, the circus mechanic Alice operated some sort of mechanism at the back to make the knives pop out as if they'd been thrown. Oh my god, there's another one. Oh, I thought I'd riddled it out there. What else have I got here? Trick revealed. Okay. Well, maybe that contradicts the self-taught thing? No? Okay. Well, maybe it is something related to the knife trick thing. Hang on. Trick revealed. God. Okay. Anything here? No. Trick reveal. Something in the photo doesn't make sense, but what is it? According to A. Dean, in the knife-throwing act, the knives aren't thrown, they pop out from the back. So there's no way it could kill someone like this. But it's not that unthinkable that someone just happened to use the throwing knives as a convenient weapon. How the trick is done on stage is irrelevant to the murder. It's different from the trick, but it's not peculiar. Not something that might tell me more about the killer or the case. No, my gut tells me there's something else I'm not noticing here. Hang on, I'm going to try that again. Photo knife trick. Is it the mirror? There's no mechanisms on the back of this board. Here we go. The knife-throwing trick relies on a mechanism on the back of the board, but in the crime scene photo, the reflection in the mirror shows that the back of the board is empty. You said that the knife-throwing act actually only works because there's some sort of mechanism hidden on the back, right? I've told you more than enough about that trick at this point, Detective, although I really shouldn't. We've gotten this far, haven't we? I'm not asking about the trick, for God's sake. I'm not interested in switching careers. If it's not about the trick, what's this about, then? The mechanism. It's visible, right? Like you can definitely spot it if you're looking? Yeah? She looks at me, brows furrowed, no longer at ease. I can tell she genuinely has no idea what I'm getting at, which is interesting. Did you know there's a photo of the crime scene? Have you seen it? No, I haven't seen the photo, but I saw the room. Did you notice anything out of the ordinary? I hand her the photo. She hesitates for a second and closes her eyes, taking the photo from my hand. The board in the photo. Look at the reflection in the mirror. She gasps. There's nothing on the back. Didn't you find that peculiar? I Honestly, just never noticed. I was so shocked, and she was just lying there. I didn't know what to do. I didn't even want to look at her. I couldn't think about anything else. I'm sorry, but what does this mean? Did someone remove the mechanism before her death or after? No, that's not possible, but... She shakes her head and smiles wryly as if making fun of herself. I know you have no reason to believe me, and it's not like I have been exceptionally forthcoming so far, but in my defence, there's a reason I didn't realise it was out of place. Go on. When you were trying to figure out how the act works, there was something you missed. It's understandable since you've never seen the act in action. What? In the beginning of the act, there's a segment where we wheel the board out and show it to the audience, front and back. But, oh, it's a dupe. It's an identical board, just without the mechanism at the back. And you guys switch it to the real board at some point in the performance, before you get tied to it. So not only are there 2 sets of knives and 2 operators, there are 2 boards. And the one that Hattie was tied to is actually the decoy. That's right. But it doesn't make any sense. Why? Well, I was sure that what happened to Hattie must have had something to do with the act. Like she was practicing with someone, testing the mechanics or something. But this doesn't make any sense. That board is just to show to the crowd. It has never actually been the target. Curiouser and curiouser. Looks like I might need to reevaluate my theories about the crime scene. Well, that was useful. Is that giving us something else here? Not yet. Okay, well, we've done Aideen's contradictions at least. I think let's leave here for now. I want to go to Tito. We might even be able to get a couple of time slots now. Oh, no, not quite. But we can definitely get one anyway. Bring Dr. Jones. Bring Jones up to 8. Five left for the day. For the hour. Blink. There we go. Oh, I got an achievement. Reach 8 max AP for both Magician and Detective. So, okay, so we're maxed out on AP now. But maybe we can, as we gain experience, we can sort of reclaim back the ones we've actually used that hour. So, you know, they'll still have purpose. Crime scene. I'm debating going and talking to... Maybe we should talk to different people about it. Let's go to the big top first. We're probably going to have another puppet act with Echo first. Maybe not. Okay, oh, okay, he doesn't have a contradiction then. Maybe I found it, or... Let's talk about the trick, though. So I figured out how the knife-throwing thing actually works. No, I don't want to hear it. You don't? It's called a trade secret for a reason. Wow, I didn't know you had such high ethical standards. I do not. I simply refuse to stoop to that level. It was her act. I don't care how it's done, as long as it works. So unless there's something related to the case specifically you need to ask me, I don't need to hear about it. Okay. We've asked him about the photo, and we can't do so again. I don't think there's anything else I want to ask him now, then. Alright, let's leave him for now. Let's go and talk to Chip. The old wood chipper. I could do this one on him. I figured out something about Hattie's knife-throwing act. What do you mean, figure out? Well, wait, does this have anything to do with, like, a secret? Dare I say, a trade secret? I think it can be considered that. Then I shouldn't hear it from you. But I really, really want to know. Come on, hit me. I'll keep it a secret, promise. She never actually threw the knives. Another person operates a mechanism at the back of the board, which made knives pop out. Who operates the Oh, sorry, he's gone scouse there. Who operates the mechanism? Alice, probably. The mechanic operates the mechanism? A bit on the nose, but logical. He leans back, eyes still looking upwards. Wow, woohoo. Can't believe you figured it out. Pretty ingenious of her, though. I gotta process that for a bit. He doesn't have any contradictions either, does he? Don't think there's anything else I need to ask him right now, either. Let's go and tell Moses about the trick. See what he says. So I spoke with Aideen about the knife-throwing act. The secret behind it.
What secret?
Well...
Wait.
Yeah, I wasn't sure you'd want to know because of the whole trade secret thing.
Well, you've already spoiled it by making me aware there is a secret to be found.
He stands up straight and adjusts his glasses, looking much more like the sharp businessman of his reputation than the tired, burdened man he's appeared to be so far today.
What's left is not hard to guess. Once you begin to see the whole thing as a magic trick rather than a show of skill, then I could roughly guess how it was done. Most of the magic relies on three things: sleight of hand, illusion, and misdirection. If she doesn't know how to actually throw a knife, then she doesn't throw it. The throw is sleight of hand, the knife hitting the board must be an illusion, and 18 is the misdirection.
Top marks. From what I understand, the board has a mechanism at the back, operated by Alice, that makes the knives pop out.
But I've seen the board. There's nothing... that one must be a duplicate. More misdirection.
Did you truly know none of this before? It sounds like I didn't need to tell you any of it.
I really didn't know. Is it that hard to believe Hattie was trained in knife throwing, or that someone could throw knives with this level of skill? We are people who swallow fire and walk on wires. Naturally, we'd assume something that could be accomplished with skill doesn't need to be accomplished with trickery. The genius of this act, Mr. Jones, is that no one knew to look for a trick.
Fair. No contradictions here either. He doesn't want to talk to him about his attack because he thinks it'll make him look incompetent, so I guess we'll leave that one. We could talk to him about the trophy, maybe. So I went to Hattie's room and...
You did? I thought it was locked.
Well, it was. I hope you don't mind, but the point is, did you know a trophy was broken in her room?
No, I haven't been there since she died. I think she locked it up before she left on Monday afternoon. I don't know if anyone's been inside since. You said a trophy was broken?
Yes, shattered on the ground. It was like a greenish-bluish colour.
Was it in the shape of a star?
Well, it shattered into pieces, so I can't quite tell. But that sounds right. There were lots of sharp edges.
Yeah, that was her Magician of the Decade trophy, awarded by the American Magician Society. I believe it's the only one in the color you're describing.
Magician of the Decade? Has Hattie even been working for that long?
No, but it doesn't work like that. As you can imagine, it's a unique award that they only give out every 10 years. It's a very high honor and was a particularly treasured piece of hers. So there's no way she'd have left it on the floor like that, in normal circumstances. But,
And because she didn't die in her room and people saw her outside, it's unlikely she fought someone there. Is it possible that the trophy was broken after her death? Possibly by the killer?
Well, you got all that for some broken glass shards on the ground?
That's what I do. Alright, no contradiction. But reminding me about the shards, I want to go and talk to Echo, because I think he's a reasonable suspect again, and may have a view on that. Ah, we've asked him about it already. Okay, who haven't we asked about the shattered trophy then? Chip? The old Chipper? No, we've asked him about it. I mean, it's not in our things here. So what it says, find my attacker. So, like... Let's ask Chip about this, see what he says. So, something happened to me on my way here to the circus. Huh? I was attacked by someone who knocked me out and took my clothes. I woke up just behind the trains in my underwear. I didn't even remember why I was at a circus. And? What do you mean, and? Wait. It's real? Of course it is. What did you think it was? Well, sorry, I thought it was the setup to a joke. I kept waiting for your punchline. I was busy thinking about how to let you know that joke kinda sucks, politely. That's rich coming from him. No, I was not telling a joke. So you really were half naked outside the trains? You mean like the trains we all live in? Actually, I think it is. Wait, how long were you out there? Was it the whole night?
I've no idea.
Does that mean I could have seen or heard you? Do you snore? I thought I heard someone snoring at night, but that could have just been echo.
I don't, but that's really not the point. I was passed out, not sleeping.
Do you have any idea who did it yet?
No, I'm kind of busy with the case at the moment.
Don't you think it was the same person?
Well, it could be. I'd prefer if no one else hears about this.
Right. Our secret.
He nods and mimes, zipping his lips, but somehow his shifty eyes tell me he's going to blab the first chance he gets. Ugh, why did I think it was a good idea to tell him?
Okay, that's it for Jones. Well, we got to the bottom of the knife trick, so that is progress of a sort. We still need to speak to Alice with Jones. I'm really keen to do that because it seems like he's got a lot to talk with her about. But also, Jackie needs to get into the backstage when Alice isn't there. So I'm interested to see kind of what the map's doing here. And, oh, it's Echo there.
Interesting. What's he doing there?
And Alice is over here in the stables. So what does it say here?
Well, we've got till 7 p.m.
I'm going to go backstage. I'm going to see if we can rummage around, even though Echo's in here. The backstage tent is quiet. Alice is nowhere to be found. Echo sits in front of one of the makeup tables. He's looking down at something, a fork in his right hand. When he notices me coming in, though, he rolls his eyes and drops the fork to grab his puppet from the chair next to him. He ties the string of the puppet to his left hand and rises to speak to me. What do you need now? Sorry, did I interrupt your dinner? I didn't mean to. Well, a little late for that. I didn't expect him to say that, not awkwardly. Well, sorry about that. What are you eating? Ham casserole with potatoes. It's steaming as if it's fresh out the oven. There's a layer of cheese on top, pieces of pink ham sticking out through the cheese. Well, it looks good. It's fine. You can fetch some from the food tent if you want it. Translation, don't look at mine, get your own. Okay, I'm okay for now. Well, he raises his eyebrows at me and points to the dish with his free hand. Right, I'll leave you to it. I awkwardly survey the room for a place to sit as he returns to his meal. Maybe because I'm still here, he doesn't even put down the puppet. Instead, he clutches at the dish awkwardly with the string still hanging on his left hand. That makes me feel a little guilty, as if I'm making his life harder, but also it's a pretty funny sight. Using his right hand, he starts digging through the casserole. It's a fantastic looking casserole, bits of ham, potatoes, and broccoli, all covered with cheese. Now, I'll be honest, the smell's making me feel a little hungry. But Echo's not eating anything yet. Instead, he's rummaging through the casserole like a thief ransacking a home. He's picking out pieces of broccoli with a fork and shoving them all to the side. Since everything's covered in cheese, it's not the cleanest process. I watch him pick out broccoli for minutes. He still hasn't taken a bite. Finally, he snaps round and glares my way. Do you have to be here? I don't like people watching me eat. Is that what you're doing? I thought eating traditionally involved opening your mouth and putting food in it. He rolls his eyes. What I eat is none of your business. What do you have against broccoli? I don't like it. What, is that a crime? No, I'm sure plenty of 5-year-olds agree with you on that front. Wouldn't have pegged you for a picky eater. Well, I'm sorry to disappoint. I'm just feeling sorry for the casserole's all. Do you want it? You can have it if you just stop bothering me. He pushes the casserole across the table. The plate looks like a disaster zone, like a corpse has been left out for the vultures. One glance kills my appetite. No thanks, you can keep it for yourself. Oh, so you aren't eating it. Funny. With the way you had those opinions, I thought you were talking about your own food. He has a point, but also the mess of the casserole and the poor pieces of broccoli might disagree. He makes an irritated noise and tosses the fork aside to turn back and look at me. Seriously, what the hell do you want? Let's get your business over with so I can return to my dinner in peace. I don't really want to talk to him about anything. I want to have a look around the room. So let's do that. A portable clothes rack crammed with colourful costumes and a cerulean crescent. Wow, that's a lot of C's. This is where Alice hid her sketchbook earlier, right? She doesn't want me to look at it yet, says she isn't finished, but when have I ever listened to that? Besides, she said she'd only give me my page, but I'm curious about what else is in there. With Echo's eye still on me, I try to casually inch towards the box of fabrics beneath the giant moon prop. What are you doing? Oh, I think quick. When I changed into this costume, I left my clothes here. I'm just checking if Alice moved them. Oh, whatever. After I'm sure he's back to doing his own thing, I quickly rummage through the box to find the sketchbook. I flip it to the newest page. There it is, a rough sketch of me in Hattie's clothes and the mask sleeping. Hattie's clothes and the mask, sleeping on the backstage couch. Yeah, it's really a pretty good sketch, if only half finished. I make some noise again, just in case Echo is still listening, then I flip back to the previous pages. True to her word, most of the things in the sketchbook are just doodles. There are sketches of other circus members. Moses fiddling with his record player, Aideen putting on her makeup, Yan enjoying a piece of pie with cream on her face. And then there are random images of things. Design of someone's costume, arrangements of stage props, what looks like a rough sketch of some sort of mechanism I can recognize. That looks like the knife trick stuff, doesn't it? They're not all circus related either. There are clearly sketches of random things, a singing cat, a grapevine, a flying airplane, things that she probably saw on television or read in books. There are also full still-life images of a room I can't recognize, but it looks like the inside of a train car, probably some circus workers' room. I think that's Hattie's train car, isn't it? As I thumb through them, one page feels different. I almost missed it as I flipped through the pages as it's torn in half. It depicts half the face of a woman, probably in her late 30s. She looks like she's in the kitchen holding a tray of sugar cookies. Due to the rip, only half of her face is visible. I'm still quite sure this isn't anyone I recognize, not one of the performers I've met so far. The page is coarse with the marks of erasers everywhere, and the lines are uncharacteristically hesitant, like they were erased and redrawn over and over. Maybe that's why she wasn't satisfied with the drawing and tried to tear it out? I'm dying with curiosity, but it's not like I can ask her about it. Were you swallowed by that box down there? Shit, I almost forgot about him. I'm fine. I stuff the sketchbook back in the box and pile the rest of the things on top haphazardly. Their pity. You? I try to examine his expression to see if he saw or suspected what I was doing, but his face gives nothing away. Whatever, my legs are going numb from squatting so long. I stand back up and continue looking around the room as if nothing out of the ordinary happened. Oh, hang on. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so we're gonna close that now, I reckon. What pranks has Yan played on him, I wonder? Has Yan ever pulled a prank on you? Of course she has. What did she do? Why do you think I'm going to tell you? Because it's funny? He rolls his eyes but laughs. Actually, it was pretty funny, and I respect the amount of effort that went into it. Now I have to hear it. Well, as you can see, the marionette has tailored clothes just like a human. And I never leave it alone. Usually when I sleep, I keep it on the table next to my bed, and I'm a light sleeper. So you can imagine my surprise when one day I woke up and the marionette has a completely new outfit, a clown's costume complete with a stupid hat. Oh, I bet Chip loved that. He did, which annoyed me significantly more than the prank itself. Where did she even get the marionette-sized clothes? Apparently they came from leftover fabric from Chip's actual clown costume. And Yan sewed it together herself? That's what she said, but judging from the needlework, Aideen or Alice had to have been an accomplice. Well, at least she didn't rat them out. And compared to her other efforts, I think you were let off easy. Should I be honored? I do give her kudos for the effort and bonus marks for loyalty. Honestly, I'm more impressed by how she somehow managed to be quiet enough to not wake me up. Apparently walking the wires for years gives you very light footsteps. Does he know anything about these two, Rolf and Hattie? I haven't asked him about it. We could ask him about it. Do you know anything about anything that's going on between Rolf and Hattie? What sort of thing? Like, are they romantically involved? They are not. If they are, would they tell you? No, but they are not. How could you be so certain then? Trust me, Hattie isn't interested. Apparently he and Hattie go way back since their apprentice days. Could that be why he's so confident? Again, how can you be so sure? Do you know something I don't? Was she secretly married, seeing someone? Seeing you? What? No. Rolf is just not the type of person she's interested in. You know she has a type, and you know what that type is? Are you and Hattie that close? If you don't believe it, go ask her yourself. I was confused until I saw him pointing to the ground. Oh, right, you can't because she's dead. I don't know where you heard that, but just don't believe everything you hear. Besides, it's none of your business. Probably fair. Does he know that she was leaving? So you know for sure Hattie was planning on leaving. Did Moses know about this? I don't know, and how was I going to ask? Oh, sorry that your star performer's dead. And by the way, did you know that she's a traitor and that she was already planning on kicking you to the curb? So really, it doesn't make that big of a difference. You don't need to be so sad about it. Yeah, can't wait to bring that up. I thought you said you don't care about speaking ill of the dead. He pauses halfway through his rant in a rare moment of being stumped. I don't, but Moses is still alive, and Echo, at least to some extent, cares about not hurting his feelings. Not that he'd ever admit it. Right, so you don't know if Moses knew about this big plan of Hattie's? I don't. Interesting. I'm surprised a cynic like him hasn't mentioned it, but a revelation like this might not just hurt Moses emotionally. From an outsider's perspective, it could also be a sign for another thing, a motive for murder. Well, looks like I need to talk to Moses about this after all. I thought we did. I've probably just done it out of order. Out of order. Does he know about this? Does he want to know about it? Oh yeah, she wants to. Yeah. Fine. Presumably this will be the same then. I might just tick these things off that I can't talk about because it just kind of, grays them out here. What about the financial thing? How much do you know about the financial situation of the circus? How much do you know? You've barely been here for a day. If this were any other place, I'd accuse you of being a corporate spy. What makes you think I'm not? Besides, do you see anything here worth spying on? We're not doing so well, I take it. How did you know? I can see it on your face. Really? No, it's not that hard to figure out from the rising costs and the slipping attendance. I don't know how bad it is, but it can't be good. Well, I actually ran into Moses talking with an investor who thought I was Hattie, and some things were said. Now the circus is going to close, isn't it? No, Moses said. He might have said something to stall, but that won't last long around money people. When something isn't making money for the money people anymore, it's only a matter of time before they tie it to a rock and dump it into the sea. Wow, you're a real glass half empty guy, huh? Oh no, I'm a glass half drunk, so it must contain someone else's spit guy. You really think the circus is gonna close? Don't get me wrong, I hope it doesn't. But when has that ever changed anything? You couldn't have joined at a better time, yeah? It's like investing in the stock market in 1928. I think I'll be fine. Alright, well, we're crossing some stuff off with him anyway, and there's no more contradictions to know. We're not going to show him the letter for obvious reasons, or the note. I think I'll probably move on now. So, what are we looking to ask people about here? Don't know really. We go and check that I've talked about stuff with Moses, maybe. Can we? Yeah, fair enough. He doesn't care about the love lives. What about the financial thing? It was hinted that we should speak to him about it. So if, and I mean if theoretically you find who Hattie's apprentice actually is in the circus.
Why are you asking? Do you know who it is?
I do, but I promised her not to tell anyone, particularly you. No, I don't. I just mean if we find who it is, then what you told Senator Price about how the circus could stay profitable may actually come true. Then you'll have a real new Hattie, right? He pauses.
I'm afraid it's not that simple, Miss Jackie. First of all, show business doesn't work like that. Even if this apprentice can do everything Hattie can do, which is already questionable given the short time Hattie had to train anyone, he still doesn't guarantee they'll have the same popularity. The audience is one of the most mysterious things in the world. Try as anyone might, and believe me, we do try, no one can predict how they take to a performer. I'm sure you can think of some singers or actors where even though someone's technically skilled, they just might not have the it factor. Hattie's success and popularity is a rare combination of a number of factors. Her talent and skills, of course, her drive and innovation, her personality, but also who she is, when and where she came onto the scene. I wouldn't call it lightning in a bottle, but it's the closest thing to it. Not to mention the fact that if the apprentice can only do Hattie's tricks, there's the inevitable comparison to Hattie. They'll need to create some of their own to succeed. That was why I was so hesitant to hire you, when I thought you were really looking for a job. Even the best magician in the world can't beat overblown expectations to meet an impossible standard. That, coupled with the eventual public knowledge of what happened to Hattie and the apprentice's relationship with her, is a recipe for disaster. There's more.
There's more?
This thing doesn't have to do with Hattie or the apprentice, it's just, I haven't even wanted to think or talk about this. But if we're on the topic of our financials and our future, perhaps I can't keep ignoring the possibility that if one of our core members were behind Hattie's death, they didn't just take away one member of our circus with the murder, they took away two. If the killer is not caught, I don't know how anyone's going to deal with the certainty that an unknown murderer is among us. But if the killer is caught and it turns out to be a performer, then we'll still be 2 members short.
This all seems impossible, doesn't it?
And I knew, in my heart I knew it all when I said what I said to Richard. I hoped.
He stays silent for a long time, looking exhausted but unwilling to let go.
Well, hope's not gonna save the day, but at least it bought us some time.
Grim. Kind of inclined to go and maybe talk to Alice again at the stable. Let's see what she's up to. Before I even enter the stable area, I can hear the noise of something grinding in between all the animal noises. Alice is standing in front of the stalls holding a giant handsaw. She has a long piece of wood on top of a haystack, one leg fixing it in place while she crouches down to saw it. The handsaw looks heavy and the haystack isn't exactly firm. I want to warn her, but I don't want to risk distracting her. But her bony arms are deceivingly powerful. She holds the big saw in one hand like it's nothing and goes to work on the wood. Only after she saws clean through it do I dare go up and say hello. What are you working on? Oh, look over there. I follow her finger to the door of the stable stall in the middle. The tall black horse standing inside is glancing at us curiously, but that's not what she's pointing to. The original door bolt is snapped in half, so the door is temporarily held in place together with a nail and some rope. If Alice is fixing it, that must mean that someone in the circus is responsible for the break, so it probably happened sometime during the week. Oh, okay, interesting. The door bolt on one of the stable doors was broken in half just recently, because Rolf's alibi relies on his horse getting out, didn't it? And he went to look for it. What happened to it? Rolf's horse Obsidian broke it when he ran out. Why did he break it? Was he trying to escape? Apparently, he was scared of the thunder. This was just his anxiety showing. He ran all the way to the fair too and left marks on one of the stalls, which I'm going to fix eventually too. This is the high priority because we're leaving soon. This door doesn't get fixed before we leave. Pretty sure the owners here are going to send a ridiculous bill later. As we speak, she walks over to the stable door and starts working on replacing the bolt. She looks around for a pair of pliers and comes up empty, so she shrugs and pulls out the nail and rope with her bare hands. Did you just... What? Oh, the nail? It really wasn't that deep. Stronger than I look. Almost done. 1 second. She has her head down, working on the door, one hand sliding in the new bolt, the other stroking the black horse. Aw. Yeah, I told you I'm not scared. Obsidian. Alice immediately closes her eyes and scrunches up her face, but she's laughing at the horse, both hands reaching up to touch its face. A few legs later, her hat is pushed to the side and her hair is standing up in all directions. I've heard of a cow leg, but never a horse leg. She laughs again. I think it's the first time I've seen her laugh out loud. When all the worries have been wiped from her face, she looks so young. Judging by her appearance, she probably is very young, in her very early 20s perhaps. But she's been taking on major responsibilities here, from fixing everything to helping me with my disguise, even though she's clearly shaken from Hattie's death. She continues working on the bolt, setting the new one in place and testing it, fighting with the horse's attention the whole time. Sorry, Obsidian, stop. All right, I think I'm done with the door. She uses her fingers to comb her wild hair and put her berry back in its position before turning back to me. Sorry about the wait. Did you need me for anything? Door bolt. No contradictions. We've spoken to her about that. Does she know anything about Rolf and Hattie? Yeah, I kind of want to ask her about the bolt, I think. Let's see what she says. You fixed the broken bolt? Yeah, I did. I saw it a few days ago, but I didn't have any wood at the time, so I pinned a nail to the side and used the rope to hold the door shut temporarily. Oh, that was you. Just doing my job. Do you know what happened to the door? That's Obsidian's stall. Rolf told me he broke the door and ran out because he got scared of the thunder. He ran all the way to the fair and even knocked over a vendor's wood pole. I had to help him fix that too. She shakes her head a little annoyed. We got the pole back up, but Obsidian left tons of his teeth marks on it. It's not pretty. We'll have to find a replacement when we get the chance. Sounds like the horse created quite a mess. Nothing that I can't fix. Alright. Let's ask her about this. Do you know if there was anything between Rolf and Hattie? Rolf and Hattie? What do you mean anything between them? Like they were friends? Well, are they particularly close or weirdly awkward? Did Hattie say anything about Rolf? No? I don't know. Never saw them talk much. Yeah, no, there's nothing useful there particularly, is there? We do mind reading on her. You want to know what I do? Sure. I do your usual stuff, rabbits and hats, card tricks, escape acts, that sort of thing. But my specialty is in mind reading. She pauses and then gives me a slow smile. A telepath. In the flesh. No, you're not. She says it almost out of reflex and she seems to be embarrassed by her frankness. Sorry, I don't believe in all that stuff. Of course, you're a mechanic, right? You must have been a part of plenty of magic tricks. I imagine once you know how it's done, it'll never feel as magical again. Actually, I think it only gets more magical. The majority of the audience knows it's not real magic, the kind you do with a wand or a spell, but they still get so drawn into it. It's almost like, for the few hours of that performance, we all enter into this world, this bubble together, and look at everything as if they were magic. For a moment, we all choose to forget about what is possible and choose to believe in the extraordinary. And in that moment, magic is real as the tent and the popcorn, maybe even more real. Wow, that was beautiful. I'm sorry for being cynical. Hey, maybe you'll make a better magician than me. She gives me an indecipherable look and shakes her head. I thought we might try and read her mind. Never mind. I thought maybe we could try and lure a secret out of her, but 'twas not to be. Right, Jones, please tell me Alice is on the map. Oh. Why is he saying, all right, that was it, where should I go next? Kind of weird. I walk outside and head to the field thinking about my next steps. Hello.
Mister, can you wait a second?
I turn around. There's a young boy behind me staring at me with curious eyes. He's thin as a rail with a shining smile despite a few missing teeth. He's bouncing on his toes and looking around every other second, radiating infinite enthusiasm. Sorry, are you talking to me?
Yeah, you're the,
He looks around before mock whispering in my ear.
The big detective, right?
I suppose.
That's right, I've got a message from the boss for you. He wants you to go see him in his office as soon as possible.
Oh, you mean Moses, right? You're with the circus?
I sure am.
Oh, it's little Lee.
I deliver messages and stuff. Everyone calls me Little Lee.
Oh, nice to meet you, little Lee. So Moses asked for me. Did he say what it's about?
Nah, that's big people stuff. I don't ask questions. Well, your message's been delivered. I've got to go.
Before he runs away, he turns his head back to me and performs a mock salute.
Nice to meet you too, big detective. I hope you solve the case.
The kid certainly moves fast. No wonder they have him delivering messages. Speaking of, what does Moses need me for? Sounds urgent. I better head over now. Well, tell you what, let's let this conversation with Moses play out first. Excuse me?
Mr. Jones, please come in. I take it you received my message?
I did. Your messenger boy is very chipper.
Yeah, he's eager, fast, loyal, and don't ask too many questions. He's one of the best workers I have.
So, what's the urgent message?
I just received a visitor from the police department. Looks like my pestering has worked. To a certain extent, at least. They did still make it clear they don't intend to do anything about the case, but they did deliver this.
He goes back to the table and pulls out a file. They gave you the autopsy report.
Literally the least they could do.
Anything surprising?
Have a look for yourself.
Victim, female, age between 25 to 35, blah blah blah. Time of death, Monday afternoon. Toxicology negative. No alcohol or drugs in the system. Okay, that's good to know. Cause of death, stab wound to the chest. Yeah, no defensive wounds. Slight bruising around the wrists, okay. Murder weapon, knife. Wait, what? I do a double take. The knife from the act wasn't the original murder weapon? I rush to read the following explanation. Whereas the throwing knife should be expected to make a linear wound with both ends pointed, the actual wound is more triangular. And while the stabbing motion was forceful, leaving marks on the bone, the throwing knife left no hilt marks on the skin. Which shouldn't have been possible, given the depth of the wound and the length of the blade. However, as the wound matches a throwing knife in width, we can only deduce that the original murder weapon has a similar width. Or it's possible that it had a narrower blade, but the wound was widened by the insertion of the throwing knife post-mortem. Therefore, it's likely the initial stabbing was done with a sharp weapon with a thicker blade and duller edges. Now, let's think about this. A sharp weapon. A thicker blade and duller edges. A sword? Either longer or hiltless, and either equal or to or narrower than the throwing knife. It's a thicker, but... Could it be Aidene's fire pole thing that she uses in her fire swallowing act? Huh. He literally says, huh, just as I did. Huh. This certainly has implications. I need to rethink some things. Can I keep this for now?
Sure.
According to the coroner's autopsy report, the throwing knife wasn't the original murder weapon. Instead, the initial stabbing was done by a thicker blade with duller edges. It was either hiltless or longer. Hiltless or... Okay, so it was either hiltless because there was no hilt marks on the flesh, or it was longer than the throwing knife. And had a hilt, so it made perhaps a sword. And likely equal or narrower in width. Wow, okay. Interesting. Thank you for giving me this. I don't know what it means yet, but I can tell this will be important. It would have been nice to have it when I started today, but I'm not going to complain.
Trust me, I'm not happy with them dragging their feet either, but better late than never. Speaking of time, that may be the one thing you don't have a lot of left.
He taps on his watch.
It's 5 already. At 7 the show will start and everyone, and I mean almost everyone, will be busy with the show. That means 6 o'clock might be your last hour when you can ask any questions you want.
I must spend it wisely then.
I'll be here in my office as always. Tito will be with me, so you know where to find us. Aideen and Yan usually has dinner in their own room. As for the rest, I'm not sure.
Thanks for the tip. I'll be off then. Lots to do and not much time to do it.
Right. If there's anything you need my help with, please just let me know.
I appreciate all of your help so far, especially sharing the report with me. He shakes my hand and stands up to send me out of the door.
Mr. Jones, I just wanted to say, I know you've been given a nearly impossible task. There are many things I'm uncertain about, and I hired you in the hopes of getting some answers. In retrospect, I suppose I thought getting an answer to the case could solve all of my problems, but that's delusional. So no matter how this case concludes, I just wanted to thank you for lending your expertise and throwing yourself into it.
Thank you, but you don't have to say all of that. I'm just doing my job.
It might be old hat for you, but for us, it reminds us that our lives are worth something, no matter what the authorities or the papers might think.
Thank you, I'll try my best. He's right. I really don't have a lot of time left. I need to plan my next moves carefully. No contradictions here. I don't think we need to ask him about that. Let's have a quick look at the map. Please give me Alice on the map. Nope. Where is she? Why can't Jones talk to Alice? Oh my lord. Okay. I probably, other than this, I've probably only got one time slot to speak to her. Goodness me. Okay. Well, I don't think the lack of time or the inability to find Alice at any point as Detective Jones is helping my anxiety any more about coming to a successful resolution of this mystery, but we are going to leave it there for today. So when we come back, we'll head into the 5 p.m. slot, 8 out of 8 AP. We don't have the XP to fill that up again either, unless I find my attacker somehow. But I think probably what I'm mainly going to do is ask everybody about the autopsy report, or at least get an idea of what the murder weapon could have been. And we'll do that next time. So yeah, hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed this. I hope you did. If you have any theories, any ideas about where we might be going, what was the murder weapon? I have a suspicion about Aideen's fire swallowing equipment. I could be way off on that. But let me know what you think happened. Who's the suspect? What's the murder weapon? What was the reason for the murder? I'm always interested to hear theories. And, you know, if you're watching this and haven't already subscribed to the channel, it would be amazing if you could. So thanks very much, and I hope to see you next time. Bye for now.